Life in the U.S.A. Renting an Apartment. Read to you by Carol Brigham. Many people in the U.S. do not own the place where they live. Instead, they rent their houses or apartments. In 2024, people rented more than 45 million places to live in the U.S. Most newcomers rent a place to live before they buy a place. People who rent are called tenants. They pay rent to the landlord of their buildings. What do you need in an apartment? Write down the things you want and need in an apartment. How many bedrooms and bathrooms do you need? What important places are close to the apartment building, such as a school or bus stop? Write down how much money you can pay for rent each month. Most people spend between 1/3 and 1/2 of their monthly income on rent. You may not be able to afford an apartment that has everything you want. You might be able to find a roommate to share the cost of rent and get a larger or better place to live. Example: we want a safe neighborhood with a park nearby. We want a clean building. We need 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. We want to be near a good school. We want to be near a subway station or bus stop. We want to be less than a half hour away from work. We bring home $2,400 a month, so we want to pay $800 to $1,200 a month for rent. How to find an apartment. Tell your friends and family that you are looking for an apartment. Look at the ads in the real estate section of Facebook Marketplace or on Craigslist.org. Go to a real estate website and look at the apartments. Some real estate websites are Zillow.com, Trulia.com, Apartments.com, and Realtor.com. Type in your city or zip code. You can choose a price range, the size of the apartment, and more. You can see many photos of apartments for rent. You can use a real estate agent to help you find an apartment. The agent charges a fee. The fee may be a % of the rent for the year or a flat fee. The landlord usually pays this fee. Talking to the landlord. A landlord wants to know if a new tenant has a steady job and will pay rent on time. When you visit an apartment, bring a paper with your name, phone number, place of employment, and employer's phone number. Bring several recent paycheck stubs. Bring a letter of reference from a teacher, employer, or previous landlord. Ask the landlord some of these questions. How much is the rent per month? Does that include utilities? How much will the security deposit be? How much do we need to pay before we move in? Usually, it's 1 month's rent in advance, plus 1 month's rent as a security deposit. Where are the exits if there is a fire? Are there smoke alarms? Fire escapes? A sprinkler system? The lease. The lease is a legal agreement between the tenant and the landlord. If you don't have a lease, the landlord can raise the rent at any time. The landlord can ask you to leave at any time. They must give you 30 days to move out. It's important to read the lease carefully. Have someone help you understand it before you sign it. When you sign a lease, you are promising to pay rent for the term of the lease, usually 1 or 2 years. If you move out before the lease is over, you may have to pay the rent to the end of the term or until the landlord finds another tenant. A landlord cannot raise the rent during the time of the lease. The landlord cannot ask the tenant to leave unless the tenant breaks the rules of the lease. Walk through the apartment with the landlord before moving in. Write down any damage you see and take photos of it. Have the landlord sign the list of damages. Keep this list in a safe place until you move out. The tenant's responsibilities. The tenant must pay the full rent on time each month. The tenant must follow the landlord's rules in the lease. The tenant may not disturb other tenants or the landlord. The tenant must throw out garbage properly. The tenant must not create any unsafe or unhealthful conditions. The tenant must repair or pay for any damage he or she causes to the property. The tenant must not use or sell illegal drugs in the building. The tenant may not bring more people to live in the apartment than the lease or the law allows. The tenant must follow the rules about pets in the lease. The lease may have other rules. Tenants' rights. There are laws that protect tenants' rights. The laws are different in different states and cities. Find out the laws about tenants and landlords in your city before you sign a lease. The apartment must have running water and electrical connections. The landlord must keep the building safe, clean, and in good repair. The landlord must return the security deposit after the tenant moves out. If there is damage to the apartment, the landlord can keep part or all of the money to repair it. The landlord's responsibilities should be written in the lease. If a landlord does not keep his or her promises, a tenant may be able to end the lease early. Eviction. A landlord may evict a tenant if the tenant has not paid rent or breaks any of the rules in the lease. States and cities have different laws about eviction. First, the landlord usually tells the tenant to move out. If the tenant does not move out, the landlord may go to a judge to get an official eviction order. This can take several months to complete. The tenant must move out after an eviction order from a judge. If the tenant does not move out, the landlord can move the tenant's furniture, clothes, and other property into the street. The landlord can change the locks on the doors. The landlord can sell the tenant's property to pay rent the tenant didn't pay. For more information about Easy English News, or to subscribe to our digital version or our paper copies, visit our website, easyenglishnews.com. If you liked this video, make sure you like it and subscribe to our channel for more. Thank you.